we sometimes don't realize the value of passion in business. And I've been in business, I've seen so many entrepreneurs. I believe that passion, personal passion, and faith in what you're doing is one of the most remarkable ingredients for success.
What's up, everyone? This is Sahil here, and welcome to the Sehgal Show, where I'm gonna be interviewing some crazy entrepreneurs out there who started from scratch with no experience, resources, and connections, and then later on became unstoppable and dominating figures in their respective businesses. We're gonna dive deep into the mindset of these super successful entrepreneurs to find out how they did it and how you can model it too. It's time to pick their brains and uncover all the strategies and tactics which these entrepreneurs use to scale their businesses from nowhere to multiple 6, 7, and 8 figures. Welcome to the Sehgal Show. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sehgal Show, where we interview some unstoppable entrepreneurs who are dominating figures in their businesses. Sahil here, back again with an awesome, insane episode. Our today's guest is really special. One of my favorite one. She's an international speaker, entrepreneur, artist, philanthropist, and a mother of two. As a co-founder of Mindvalley, a leading publisher in the personal growth industry, she dedicated the last 17 years of her career from teachers like Michael Beckwith, Bob Proctor, and many more. She's also the author of 3 transformational quests: The 7 Days of Happiness, Live by Your Own Rules, and The Art of Being Flawsome. Let's welcome, without any further ado, Kristina Ma to our show today.
Thank you, Sahil, for your kind introduction, and it's a pleasure to be on your show.
It's a pleasure and honor to have you, Kristina. Thank you so much for giving this valuable time once again. All right, Kristina, I want to start with the crazy journey before Mindvalley. How did this all started, and when were you bitten by this entrepreneurial bug?
Before Mindvalley. Well, I like to say that I ended up in Mindvalley accidentally and reluctantly, because that's the absolute God honest truth. I was born in Soviet Union, where being in business was punishable by law. You'd end up in jail. So because of that, business wasn't ever part of my reality until I was a teenager. And even then, you can imagine, transition years from Soviet Union into independent Estonia, where I lived. Business wasn't exactly a safe idea. There was a lot of this dark market still present, because we were trying to find our way. So for me, introduction to business happened when I married Vishen, when I was 25. It was a long time ago now. That's when I even considered the idea of business being something approachable and possible. Until then, I was building my career in the government. So that was what I was envisioning for myself. And in addition to that, personal growth also wasn't exactly my thing. So since I had done a career before I got married, I started career in the government in Estonia, and I was quite successful very quickly. After I got married, I moved to New York. I left everything behind. And as a good Indian wife, I decided to help my husband with his business. That's how I ended up in Mindvalley. But I have to say that, ironically, I ended up realizing that this is the path. Even if I ended up on this path accidentally and reluctantly, it is exactly what I was supposed to do. And I think we sometimes don't realize our destiny until we stumble onto it. And then we're like, oh, so that's where I was going all this time.
Absolutely right. And glad you stumbled upon this one now. You are transforming not just your life and all your family life, but so many hundred thousands of people through Mindvalley, like existed not just for business or something, like personal development side of it. That's what I really love about Mindvalley. And I was watching a YouTube video yesterday while gymming, and then I saw this Vishane's ad pop up regarding the Silva method that he was talking about. I watched that video. It was like 26 minutes something video. I ended up watching the whole ad. First time I watched the whole ad, and I got stuck to that particular thing. Although this is another topic for another day, but that's how you have.
I can tell you one behind the scenes, because Mindvalley did start from Silva. And my personal journey to personal growth also started from Silva method, and it is a really remarkable method. So it is absolutely worth your attention for 26 minutes.
Absolutely. I'm gonna be diving deep into it to understand more of it. He hooked me like crazy. I took a break while gymming. I was like, I want to listen to this whole video. So that was really crazy. And one thing I want to talk about, Christina, when you were transforming, when you were jumping into this entrepreneur world, obviously it's a new world, and a lot of time we give ourselves, new people especially, we give ourselves some different excuses, limiting beliefs or objections that we have, which is holding ourselves back to give our full potential. So how do you come out of that head when you were starting out?
Well, as I said, because I ended up in business so reluctantly, I never, it wasn't my goal. And maybe that was my blessing in a way, because once you do something because you're just in those circumstances, you don't doubt yourself. I have to do that because that's where I ended. So I never doubted myself in business. But what I discovered, which was even stranger, because as I said, I was a teenager before I even saw any live business person in my whole life, because in Soviet days, we didn't have business people. It didn't exist. It was a planned economy. So it's strange that we sometimes don't even realize where our talents might lie. As I was helping Vishen with his business, I was discovering that I have a pretty sound business sense. In fact, in our family, I'm the shark one. I'm the one who is a little bit more capitalist than maybe the other one. But I never doubted myself, and maybe I was just lucky to always be trusting that things will turn out fine. And I think business is about taking risks, and it's about courage, and courage comes with a level of trust. And these were natural qualities which I didn't know I would require in business, and that's I think what helped me thrive, move on, and actually find pleasure in what I was doing.
That's so wonderful. Yeah, right on. 100% agree on this part. And that's what the whole purpose is. It's not just about making money, and there are so many other aspects of it, not just about business strategies, system that everybody has to go through it. But the main thing is, I think the next follow-up question coming into that, leading with an open mind and open heart. Like that's what is most important in the business. So when you were, I would say in the initial phases, Vishen was already a part of that. But how was the relationship I would say was kind of, were you feeling any difference between the relationship that you were having with Vishen at that time when you jumped into it and all
Well,
that?
we started Mindvalley together at the same time, so I was there from the very beginning. It's just that Vishen had passion for these things. I had passion for Vishen at that time. For those who don't know Mindvalley and who don't know us, we did divorce with Vishen a few years back, so we're not together as husband and wife. But I think it's an interesting question, but I've always considered it a blessing that we were in business together, because we had so many things that connected us as friends, as lovers at that time, but now more just as friends. We had a common passion, we had common friends, we had common events. So it was a very supportive thing. My relationship with Vishen didn't change, but I am grateful to him for pulling me into this universe. And I think we sometimes mix things together, but in reality, we have so many different social roles. We're not just one human being. We play different roles as we interact with the world. For example, you are, well, I do not know about you very well, but I'm a child and I'm also a parent. These are very different social roles. I may be a friend, and I may be a work partner, business partner. I may be, I may be a teacher, and I may be a student. So we have all those different roles in different circumstances. And even in one relationship with, or let's say in a relationship with one person, we sometimes perform very different things. So as I said, we divorced with Vishen a few years ago. And that these roles, we stopped playing to each other. We're not lovers anymore. We're not husband and wife, but we are still co-parents. We're still partners in business. We are still good friends. We're still a lot of things to each other. So, I think it is incredibly important to see that distinction and to not mix things up. And sometimes when we are angry with a friend, we may, behave wrong as a human being. Or when we are, let's say, frustrated at work, we may forget that we are also a friend. And it is incredibly important to see things for what they are, for their essence, and not get distracted by strong emotions occasionally.
Oh, that's so right. Thank you so much for opening up and sharing, being so vulnerable. It's really thank you for doing that. And for people, it's a great lesson sometimes out here. A lot of time everybody is sometimes partners and all that, and things happen. Uh, One thing that I want to talk about coming to the business, like, what is that one thing your business did that you didn't expect that it turned out into a complete different human being?
Well, what's the one thing my business did for me or in general?
In
Because there are,
general, like for other people as well, for you were not maybe not looking at the big picture at that time when you were starting out, and then you see
you
like
know,
whole thing.
I used to say that I always lived in the future, and I've always had faith in Mindvalley. And when we were still a startup, I somehow imagined it as much bigger than what it was. And I guess it's partially the ignorance bliss, because I came with no background in business. So it was just such a wonder. It was like riding a unicorn. Whatever was happening was a big miracle. But at this point, I would say I actually didn't realize when we were starting how big it would grow. So
Yeah,
that size and that mark that it is leaving, I guess, is something which is still occasionally catching me by surprise. Even if I believed in it before Mindvalley actually became successful.
I got you. Yeah, that's so okay. No, being honest here, it's amazing. Loving it. Whatever gold nuggets, I hope the audience who's watching is getting crazy value out of it, and especially in this phase of the journey, it's a very, what's the one tool like you have seen, like maybe you have always carry in your toolbox, no matter whatever circumstances are there in the business and the life. What is that one important tool?
I wonder if I could call it tool, but I think it's the curiosity. It's a
Mhm.
curiosity and courage to ask myself questions. I have in business. I've been through quite intense times. Not in main Mindvalley. Main Mindvalley, fortunately, has been a big enough ship to be quite stable. But I've done business in Russian market for a really long time, since 2009, I believe, and actually maybe even, yeah, 2009. Yeah, God, it was a long time ago. And I've survived quite intense crisis there. And like even recently, in 2022, I was doing business in Russian language, and our biggest market, Russia, went into war with our second biggest market, Ukraine. So it affected pretty much 90% of our market. And the resilience of my team and of this business was remarkable. I think it's so interesting how sometimes we can't even realize that the strength of what you do is in your passion and in your faith. And I've been through quite a few dark tunnels with my business, and sometimes uh, you I mean, one thing is certain: there will be challenges, there will be problems, there will be unexpected situations, there will be failures. What helped me through all of that was this curiosity and courage to ask yourself questions. What's going on? What should I do? Why is this happening? What can I get out of that? Any kind of questions, any kind of movement to just try to figure out. Yeah, that curiosity has probably been the most important fuel in my personal journey.
Yeah, and after working with all this, you have worked with Russian market. You said, I hope it's a obviously I can't imagine what kind of experience was it when you were going all the other things, external factors were going into the play. Has if
It's
you give, yeah, sorry, you go ahead.
with that situation, there are two sides of it. There is business side, and then there is your consciousness and your values.
Yeah,
As a human being, of course, we couldn't continue doing business in a country which was so blatantly, aggressive towards their neighbor. So we actually closed all our sales in Russia, and now that we have been through the hardest part and through the darkest part, we've restored the business in that language, but we don't rely on that big country. So 70% of our market has been lost forever, but not the revenues, surprisingly. So
Wow.
yes, as I said, we are resilient, but I think sometimes we don't appreciate that enough, especially in our contemporary society that tells you that your heart is going to lie to you, and we don't trust our intuition, we don't trust our heart. We sometimes don't realize the value of passion in business. And I've been in business, I've seen so many entrepreneurs. I believe that passion, personal passion, and faith in what you're doing is one of the most remarkable ingredients for success. And
Yeah.
it is what helped me go through war twice, essentially, in the Russian market, because in the darkest time, the only thing I could think about was that, but I can't close it because people need what I do. And you found ways.
Yes. There is no back out option. You can't step back after creating all this big movement, and then you're like, people are waiting for you. How can you just step back? You don't feel like there is a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders and all at that
But
time.
even without responsibility, it's just the faith that what you're doing is what
Yeah.
is necessary, and that's literally how my book came along. You know, I've been in this business for 20 years, and you can imagine how many times I've heard people telling me that you have to write a book. I think Vishen
Yes.
wrote his first book, like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. It took me much longer. Why? Because I waited for it to be born out of passion. I waited for the message to be so strong that I wouldn't be able to hold it back. And I think that's something which we sometimes forget. We get so busy hustling that we forget that passion is an incredibly important ingredient for success.
Exactly. There is no replacement for that. And I want to come to that same question that you are coming up with a new book launch. Congratulations, first of all, for that. So if you want to give some more details about, rather than me spilling the beans, like what exactly is the book about, who is it for, and how it can change or impact someone's life?
It's not about business, strictly speaking, but it does come from a person who's been in business for a long time. It's called Becoming Flawsome. And the book is essentially about finding your path back to yourself. And that's a very big picture about this book. But of course, on this path back to yourself, you're going to go through the forest, through the mountains, into the cave, face the
Wow.
dragon, and come out on the other side a new human being. If we go a little bit deeper into the journey, then I touch upon quite a lot of very important topics. First, of course, we start with success versus happiness, because that's a crossroad that a lot of people face in their lives and take the path which very often doesn't lead them to happiness. Then we talk about hustling and perfectionism, the two things which a lot of ambitious people suffer from as well. I talk about emotional literacy, about understanding how to deal with your hard emotions, because the journey from that point goes harder and deeper. I talk about awareness, about autopilot. I talk about honesty, kindness, courage, and logically, it ends on quite philosophical note because it is a book about your journey back to you. So, that's in a nutshell.
Nutshell. So definitely, it sounds interesting. Definitely, I've already joined the wait list, so I'm waiting for that one. Is anybody who's watching this? I'm definitely going to be putting the link under the show notes. If there is any link that you want to drop out, Kristina, for they want to sign up for the wait list or anything that I don't want to miss out on.
I believe I will probably share the same link. It's kristinamand.com/book. And Kristina Mand is written in an Estonian way, so it's with a K, and my family name is Mand. And that's literally my handle for everything. And as a contemporary human being, I'm everywhere.
That's awesome. I'm gonna be dropping the links under the show note, definitely. Any last message? I know, Krishna, your time is really valuable, and thank you so much once again. I want to be respectful here. What's the last message you want to give to our buddy
You
entrepreneurs?
know what? I believe everybody's time is very valuable, because who values my time? Me. And it's up to you to value your time. It's up to me to value my time. So I believe we all have valuable time. But what you're doing, you are giving me a platform. You're giving me an opportunity to share my message. So I really appreciate that. So thank you for this. And that's the best thing I can do with my working time. And the last message, I will share actually my favorite quote from a very unexpected movie, Cinderella.
Uh-huh.
2005 take. And my favorite quote there is by Cinderella's mother before she dies. She tells Cinderella, "Have courage and be kind." And I think it's one of the most profound messages to give out to the world. Have courage and be kind.
That's so awesome. That's so pure. Thank you so much once again for doing this. People who were watching live, I hope you got some valuable nuggets out of it. Christina has literally shared some, not just business and all, it's life lessons that you're going to be getting. And the last word, I'm impressed with this thing. Definitely be kind and be humble for that. Thank you so much, Christina, once again for giving your
Thank you
time.
so much, Sahil, for having me. It's a
You're
pleasure.
welcome. Same here.
Yeah.
All right. For people who are watching live, we'll be coming back with another episode very soon. Till then, stay tuned. Bye. Take care, everyone.